let's try this after a failed attempt. Some games, it's hard to tell how bad an effect I'm going to have, but I've played this enough time and made the mistake that I made before previously, and it definitely skews the game heavily. So I am going to upload that mistake, but I'm going to cover the same ground here, which is from the start of the Desert Fox. First thing is, I'll note here in case you don't want to watch the blooper reel for good reason, the first turn roll that I had missed in my introduction, there's a modifier to the overrun on supply dumps. If you go for straight supply overrun, which is you roll under the equal to or under the strength and you capture the supply resource, that allows that changes on the first turn. The axis, first two turns, the axis has a +4. Oh no, first turn only, I think. The axis has a +4 to the supply check. There's a number of effects on the first turn that come into play. The Commonwealth doesn't get their reaction phases. The Axis gets no supply units. The Commonwealth can't build fortifications, which is an important factor because if they can really blockade Tobruk very easily. They can do it on the second turn, though. Oh no, it's first two turns for the supply overrun. And the Commonwealth can't destroy his own supply units using the rules for that. Okay, so the problem here is how to attack this small force of Brits. It looks really weak, but the difficulty in doing so is that the Joymans don't have enough movement points. These things don't project a zone of control. That's an important factor here. So if I move this out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 12, I can't infiltrate this, 16, 20, 22, 24, 25, 26, I can get down to here, but I still can't cut the Allied supply coming up this way, which is 2, 6, 10, 12, ooh, maybe I can, 2, yeah, if I cut this road, I'm in good shape, 2, 6, 10, 12, I'm not going to be able to get back to this dump. So, getting to this space is important. What I can't do, though, is prevent the Allies from reaction moving, and that's where I screwed up. So, I want to move 2, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 22, 24, 25 on the trail, 26 down to here. Now the problem is this guy's not going to be in supply if he attacks, and I must attack with him. But that's worth the cost, I believe. And then, let's see, I wanted to move the Italians into play as well. I have 11 strength points of Italians. 1, 2, 3, 7, and 4 is 11. 11, 15, 19. This is actually sufficient to block them. Let's put this here. Okay, so I've got this force, which I can just slide into place here. So what did I have here? Let me make sure. 1, 2, 3, 7, 11, 15, 19, 20, 21, 22 to get here. 1 for entering the zone. Yeah, see, I can't get up here, which would project zones and block their movement. So they're going to be able to escape using reaction movement. And then I have 11 plus 1 is 12 to attack here. Here I have 17. I've got combined arms. This does not have combined arms, so it's halved, so it's only going to be 1 strength point. So I have a lot of odds there. Assuming the attack undergoes. Stacking points I have to worry about. I'm only allowed 6 in a hex. That puts me to 5, which means I can't get both artillery into place there. Move 1 there. 6, and then the other 1, 2, 3, 7. Move these for 11. Now I have to worry about getting these guys into supply. 4. They can supply from here. 4, 8. If I put a supply units here, then I can trace to here. I only have 6 movement points of supply that I can trace. So 4, 8, 10, 11 gets me to there. So these 2 units are just 2 stacking points. I can send just 1 truck here. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it comes out the same. 8, 12 into this hex. And now I'm able to trace supply back to this hex where the trucks are, and then the trucks can trace 12 movement points back to here. Because I have less than 3 steps that are tracing through there, I'm not going to lose a supply unit. If I had more, I would be shifting them over here. These guys can trace directly to El Aguila. This guy's out of combat supply. However, the English are able to retreat from battle. And in order to do so, they definitely want to here. They're going to be able to move a quarter their movement allowance, which allows me to pull back only 2 there, because I only have 3 movement points. That's going to force an attack here. And 2 here. I can go further with this. This guy has 28 movement points. That allows him 7. So 2, 6. I could pull him back to here. The reason I might want to do that is to provide a little bit more depth to my defense so that the unit can't just simply be surrounded. If I place like this, I have a stronger defensive position, but I have no supplies then. I'll be easily cut off and probably circumvented. So I'm going to go to here. The Germans must attack, however. That's... I don't think this was legal. No, because that thing doesn't provide a zone of control. Correct? If it does, then I did things right the first time, and I should just ignore what I've got here. Yeah, 0 stacking point units do not have a zone of control. So, this is our problem. The Germans, 2, 6. I can't trace through here. So the Germans are going to be attacking out of supply at these. That's a bad situation. I don't know how to catch the Brits here, but this is what I went with. So now we calculate out the attack. I have no bonuses here. What about the Brits? Are they in supply? Well, I could trace supply back to this dump. I don't know if I can trace through those zones. Yeah, there has to be a combat unit to allow me to trace into that dump, because the zones prevent me from getting there. So from here, it's 4, 8, 10, 11, 12. I can legitimately trace supply with these 2 units. So the Germans have to attack 2 to 6. Actually, it's 1 to 6. because I'm not in supply. So that is a failure here. That's going to create a D4D result. So this is going to be disrupted, and that's depleted, and disrupted, and it has to retreat 4 movement point, 4 hexes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, I don't have to do that. I may have better odds. I may have better odds than I have there. I don't have to attack there first. I can attack the dump first. So the dump should be pretty easy to take. I have many to 1 in clear terrain, which will be the 8 to 1 or more. That gives me the 11 column. Now this is the simple thing. I'm just attacking this dump. I've got 2 artillery shifts, which I have to keep in mind. I'm not throwing my air point in. That's only a 1 use per game. Now one thing I mentioned in my blooper that I gotta mention here, I'm marking down how many air points that I have at any given time. Right now the Axis has 1. Every turn they'll have 1 unless they grow, which they will. Next turn, for example, they get another air point there. It's the 3rd number from the left. So I keep track of the current amount of air points available on the turn using the track, but I've got to have another number to keep track of how many I've got available each game turn, because you can lose them, and this I didn't mention, if you get a die roll result that gets you an A on the column. Okay, so let's see, we're at the 8 to 1. That puts us on the 11 column. I've got 2 shifts, but I don't apply them yet. First I roll a die and add that to 11. And that gets me the 16 column. If I had allocated air point, it would be 1 would be lost, and that would be 1 off of each player if they both have them in play. But now I get 2 shifts in my favor, so I'd go over to the 18 column, but 17 is all I can get. I'm hitting a supply depot, a dump, which has an intrinsic morale of 2, which is going to eliminate it, and the effect on the attacking units is nothing. I failed to overrun the supply, I believe. Gotta keep looking things up. If a combat begins in the same hex, I think if you successfully attack, no. It's only if they're stacked with combat units that they can be converted. So this is an eliminated effect, and I did not get that supply. I'm allowed to advance. I want to advance my Italians, definitely. That's 2 stacking points, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to move the Italian infantry in place instead. That brings it to 5. I've got 1 more point. I'm going to drop the artillery in place there, and I'm going to bring, I can't bring that. I can't bring the artillery. I can't advance. Never mind. Okay, so I've got 3. I'll bring these units in play too. 4, 5. Now I have to launch an attack here. Now, did my supply situation improve? 2, 6, no. I still haven't cleared this. So I'm at that D4D, which is a painful result, but I can recoup it if need be. All right, and that gets me where I was at the end of the blooper reel, except I haven't done anything to the Brits, and that's the problem. And now I go to the motorized movement phase, where I'm going to be able to move everything except that Italian infantry. And then I go to a second combat phase. Now, what I don't remember is whether that infantry is allowed to attack in the second combat phase. I believe they are. So if the Brits don't withdraw from this position that they're in, I'll be able to throw that Italian infantry that advanced in again. Quick little rule I forgot during the reaction movement. when anyone undertakes reaction movement, they have to make a check to see if they're disrupted. So the 2 British units, I'll go the closest one. Basically, because their morale is 2, they only fail on a 1. And we're okay with both of them. Poor morale units have definite difficulties with that. And then we'll be going to the motorized movement. Since this little situation that you have here at the start of the game, what we just did, and now this mechanized movement for the Axis, is a microcosm of some of the harder decisions you have to make. You have to figure out how to handle a little clump like this and get around it. Now, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 to overrun, 12, 13, 14, 15, and then I could hit Benghazi perhaps. Now Benghazi's only got 4 strength points. Will I have supply if I hit Benghazi? That's a good question. Remember, I can't use these captured supply dumps, so it's unlikely I'll be able to hit that, but I can make these overruns, the supply overruns, without being in supply. So I could slide up this way instead. So 2, 4, 6, this is actually quicker, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So I can get these 2 supply dumps. And I can do that pretty easily. I probably don't even need these bigger Italian units if I have somewhere or another. Yes, I have an armored cav available with its high movement rate. So that could conduct that. And it may even be able to get me a little further up. I gotta be careful. I don't want to get my unit eliminated by a retreating Commonwealth forces falling back from Benghazi, although they probably do want to try to hold it. I'll try to figure out how best to puzzle this out, but I think the majority of the action that we're going to see is going to be an attack on these 2 units again. Started to run that positioning now. I'm tentatively putting these Germans here, but they could actually move forward. And if I can get supply there, they could have hit Benghazi, but I don't believe I can. Even though I have 1 morale, so I could have used emergency supply if I was stacked with a couple supply units. I'm not, however. So I think it's going to be tough for me to get up there. Oops. I don't know. But how many games do you have it where you have to use a calculator or write down how many movement points you've used up? That's what I have to do here because I'm hitting this supply dump. Now it's automatic that it falls. The only question is whether or not I get to get it, and I do not. Now that puts me in potential problems because I need to have a supply dump with where I am. I'm at 19, 20, 21, 20. These trails better be 1, yeah. Use half the cost of other train, yeah. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That'll put me up to 29. I can't hit that. 1, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. I'm not going to be able to get there. The reason is that I was kind of over here and had to jump out into this yucky, rough terrain and go around. So I'll probably fall back a little bit because I'm not going to be able to do anything of value. It's time to do things a little bit risky. So I pushed the German forces up here. I probably could have used the Italians for this, but it doesn't matter. This is the harder attack. I'm slinging them in against Benghazi. Benghazi has 4 strength points, but it is a city, which means I'm on the worst, well, I'm on one of the worst tables. So my total strength there is going to be 18 to 4. I have 4 to 1 in the city. That's not great. That puts me over here on the 5 chart where I can still take some hits. But, yeah. Maybe we'll learn some lessons. I've moved a mobile supply unit up here. That's important. 1, 2, 3, 4 and a half. I can get there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the important thing, is that I'll be able to trace there. But I've got to succeed with these attacks completely in order to clear the supply route. And worse, the Italians here are waiting on this attack, which has to succeed. So this attack's kind of problematic because I have the Italian infantry, which is only 7 strength points, against 2 strength points because it's out of supply of English mechanized. I hope this is good enough. I'm at 3 to 1. I'm taking 2 shifts from the artillery. Okay, this is in the clear, so I'm going to be on table 6. I'm likely going to destroy them. I'm not going to throw my air power in here. I'm going to save it for Benghazi because I think I need it. So at table 6, I roll a die. I am only at 7 with 2 shifts is 9. I get a partial depletion, which means the Brits are going to get to choose to hit me somewhere. Now this thing has a morale of 2, but it has no supply, no combat supply. So its morale goes down to 3, which is a D6 partial. The partial, the problem is it has nowhere to retreat to, so it's destroyed. And now, because it's not morale 1, on a 1 through 3 it survives the battle. It does not, so it goes over in the destroyed units box. I will never be able to rebuild this unit, which is fine. And now I can advance if I like. That seems like a good idea because otherwise there's an escape here. So I do so. And here, I can't add this in. I have 11 strength points to 1 because he's out of supply. He's got a 3 morale. That puts me on the top of the rough table, which is table 10. I'm not going to throw any support in on this. And now I can 2, 3, 4. I draw my supply directly from El Aguila again. So what did I say? 11 was my table. I go up to 16, which does not affect me. And we were at a 2, make it 3 morale for the Commonwealth. They get an eliminated. 1 through 3, I get to get them back. I do not. They're gone, and that's kind of a pity because this is an upgradable unit. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to remember that because there might be some armor that gets destroyed historically early and doesn't have an upgrade or something like that, and I can swap that out just for consistency in my own mind if they were trying to limit the countermix based on that kind of factor. I again have the right to advance, but I don't want to at this point. There were no chances for opportunity movement because we were reaction movement because we were surrounded. Now here the English do have an opportunity to react, except that these are slow-moving infantry foot units. I could get the artillery out of there, but I'm going to stay and fight this out. So I'm facing 17, 18 strength points. It's in supply, not from the disrupted unit, but from the MSU on top of it, or underneath it. That MSU can supply up to 5 strength stacking points, but it can supply 2 for free, and this is a 0, so it doesn't count against. So I'm not going to lose a unit for that. So I said 18 strength points there. Here I have 4, so it's 4 to 1 in Benghazi. Now Benghazi's got its own special row. 4 to 1 says table 5. The Brits have artillery. The Germans are going to use their air point there. So we're on table 5, pretty much straight up. This isn't, this is a risky attack, to tell you the truth. Ooh, you know what? I forgot to take the casualty on this pasta eater here. It had to be that unit. That's going to be good for them. Okay, another partial, but the Brits are all morale 2 except one unit's morale 3. So we were on table 11 at the end. 2 is a D4P. 3 is a D4D. Okay, so the 2 stacking point, the 2 morale units are both, no, it's the 3 that's hit, right? Yeah, the 3 is hit, the 2s have a partial, which I don't have to take against them. I could finish off this infantry, but I would rather knock the higher morale unit out as well. And they're going to take a disruption and a 4-hex withdrawal. And the Germans are going to get hit. Now, here's the question. What do I want to hit? Do I want to hit the armor or the infantry? The armor is more strength points. I'm going to go for that instead, for the simple reason that this is a mixed thing, but the strength points are very important right now. The Germans have a limited number available and a limited force available, and I want to slow them down as much as possible. Taking a strength point away is more valuable. Generally, it's better to take the losses against enemy infantry, all things being equal, the mobile infantry. And I hope I was able to get there. I think I counted the armor movement and may have sent that. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think that motorized unit could have gotten there, but I'm done going back and trying to fix things. This game is filled with situations where, with the differing movement points being so wildly different, the differing strength points and everything, I'm constantly going to be making errors throughout it. And I just can't keep rewinding. And that's really the issue with this system, is that it's very, very taxing mechanically, especially a sort of mental mechanical type thing where you have to remember a lot of numbers, like putting down the movement point costs, etc. That's probably my biggest complaint about it compared to some other systems. Anyway, we're in there. It's going to go to the Allied turn, and let's see. Oh, we have our refit phase where this gets recovered. I don't think there's anything else I can do in the refit phase. I don't have any refit points yet, so that is that. I'm able to do, as I did with this game, an overview of the rules, primarily an explanation, but without piecing my way through the rulebook one issue at a time, I'm very liable to miss some things in my explanation. I missed a few here. One was forced marches. You can double a unit's movement point allowance up to 40, and I think I actually did catch this by making a roll. First of all, the unit will be disrupted, and secondly, you make a roll, and if it fails its morale check, essentially, it is also depleted. I considered doing that, but I want to upgrade these fortifications outside Tobruk. That'll provide a roadblock. The problem is, I pulled back my disrupted units, and they're going to recover. I only get one movement phase, and the Germans are not close, or the Axis in general, are not close enough to any Allied combat units, so they can't get a reaction move now, because I pulled back. But I threw a unit up here on this location, and this is as far as I could get. I couldn't move the motorized unit there. I considered that because the motorized unit would have to pay a more expensive movement of 2 points each for these trail hexes, although it pays less for the road hexes. I don't remember where it was exactly, but say it was here. 1, 2, 3. I know I missed by like 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, that sounds about right. And I couldn't get around this way either. I don't think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So without doing the forced march, I couldn't get that there, but I could get this infantry unit, regular foot infantry, into place. I'm keeping this dump. All my others I'm going to convert to MSUs. I can't simply destroy them. I think I want to convert this to an MSU. I probably want to convert this too, just to give me an opportunity to get out of there. I have plenty of ability to supply these units from here. I've moved forward and pushed the rail hex, a couple hexes, because I have an MSU and a unit here. And I'm pushing another foot infantry forward towards the Tobruk salient. I can't use my naval movement yet. That's something I know I forgot, along with naval bombardment. Naval movement allows me to basically ship 1 unit per turn from Alexandria to Tobruk, I believe. But starting on turn 2, which it of course is not yet, and Bardia to Alexandria. Let me see. I'm allowed to transport 1 unit or stacking point between Tobruk and Alexandria, going in either direction. If I don't use that, I can transport an MSU only from Alexandria to Bardia or Bardia to Alexandria. Now the stacking point in MSU counts as a full stacking point for this, even though they aren't normally. So I could send a combat unit with some elements like a reconnaissance unit or something with it, if the stacking fits together that way. Or I can send an MSU. At this point, I'm trying to get whatever forces I can into place. Big question, do I want to put these guys... This guy I have no option with, and he recovers from his disruption at this point. I have no option with him, but these guys I threw into place with the hope of slowing the Axis advance, because I just don't think I have enough troops to defend Tobruk coming next turn if the Axis goes first. They're going to overrun some of this supply, grab what they need. They really do need these supplies in order to launch the attack on Tobruk. The question of whether or not to push this here, well, these guys started in Alexandria. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I should be here, actually. I wouldn't have had much further that I could have gone. The escarpment cost me 3 extra. I could have just continued along the highway up here instead, but I wouldn't get much further than I am. This unit I probably want to move because I've got more Brits coming in next turn. So I'm going to move it on the rail. That cost me 3 movement points. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. This one was at the edge of the rail when I moved it. Normally, I would be funneling the motorized units up front ahead of time, but because I don't have a second motorized movement, that doesn't make quite as much sense. And you know, honestly, if I'm going to lose stuff around Tobruk, I'd rather lose these foot infantry. I think they're cheaper to replace. Not positive of that. They're just infantry. They're going to count as infantry brigades. So they're 224. If I had an infantry regiment, it'd be a little bit cheaper. But that's a brigade as well, the motorized. That's the end of the first turn. I think we covered a good deal there. The Axis are going to get their air point let back that they have from here. I don't know if you can see that, but I can't see it because my view screen is really dirty. I got to clean it every now and then. I seem to always get it very dirty. I don't know why the lens doesn't get dirty, but I guess because the view screen isn't as protected. The lens has this nice little sealed closer on it, right? But anyway, that gives us the first turn. Yes, I cheated a little bit here. Kill me. I probably could have managed it with Italian troops. It does have an effect, but I'm just going to disregard it for now because it's easier to ignore it. And we got to see some of the kind of decision making that's involved. There is a lot of thinking in this game as to where to play. A lot of almost painful mechanical calculation on the geometry type thinking. Just the thing that kind of disturbs me about good old Africa Corps. Got that up there, but at a different level. Here you're worried very much about the counting, getting the right number of strength points, the right number of movement points to get somewhere, which is like Africa Corps, the right number of supply in a place. You're cutting it on a finer razor than usually is the case with the OCS. OCS, you're just spending. I don't think you ever get anything for free. You spend supply. So you've got to constantly be channeling supply. This game has this kind of weird situation where you can get away with supply for free. And Africa also has spending supply. This, you're able to keep your supply costs very, very low if you're very careful. And that's actually how you win the game. Well, that's a major component of the kind of work that you're going to be doing. It's kind of an obnoxious factor in the game. And one reason, I guess, to like Africa better, one reason not to like Africa so much is you don't have an opportunity, say, as the Germans, to really keep your attack going by being careful with your supply lines. The supply network in this allows you to do something that's kind of cheap. And actually, maybe I prefer what Africa does with its supply lines, where, you know, you want to fight, you're going to spend your supply. You want to have troops there, you're going to spend your supply. And you just only have so much. With this, you can be very clever, and with proper capturing of supplies, etc., you can actually do a pretty good job of keeping your losses of supply units low. You're still going to need to expend them every now and then for offensives, just because, you know, when you're up here fighting on this side of the map, hey, that's fine as the Germans, but once you get over here, you're quite a long ways from your supply line. It's very hard to keep your network going.